Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
Wednesday, and all of our guests today, including J.P. Barry, standing by, are brought to you by the Vancouver Canadians. The Seas are on the road in Everett this week. They kick off their next homestand next Tuesday night, 7:05. Get your tickets at canadiansbaseball.com or call the number they've had for years, 604-872-5232. J.P. Barry is going to join us now. NHL agent working at CAA Sports. Among his clients, Elias Pettersson, Quinn Hughes, and Filip Chytil, all members of the Vancouver Canucks. Last time we checked, anyway. JP joins us now. JP, thanks for doing this, sir. How are you?
Good afternoon, guys. Well, good morning for you, I guess.
Absolutely. Hey, JP, what can you? It's a big question around Vancouver. There are a lot of big questions around Vancouver surrounding your clients, but what can you tell us about Elias Pettersson's off-season conditioning plans?
Well, I know he's planning to have a big off season. We all have talked about last summer. He struggled with his injuries to get in shape, and I think he struggled all year. So he knows more than anyone. He's talking to so many people about it. I think he has a pretty big plan, and we have to let him execute it now. But he knows he has to have a much bigger summer, and he isn't. He doesn't have the same injuries in front of him, so I think he can get started pretty quickly, right? So.
And JP, the other day on Friday, he touched on this, but what's the timeline here in terms of staying in Vancouver, then heading back to Sweden?
Yeah, I don't know. I have to talk to him. I know he's going to stay for a while. I haven't heard his exact plans yet, but I know he's going to be, training with the people in Vancouver, and he also has good people arranged in Sweden. So I know it's been on his mind, and he has his own plan. And I think I don't think he wants to hear from us any longer. I think he wants to just execute and have a bigger summer.
I don't know if you'd agree with this, JP, but that interview on Friday, typical of Elias Pettersson, he's a tough read when he speaks publicly. And you touched on this, but what's his motivation level like after a real difficult season?
He's a tough read. I wouldn't want to play poker with Elias, but he's heard it from all sides, and I think he's super determined to have a much better year. No player of his caliber wants to have had a year like he's had from, the issues that went on with the team and his players and himself, and he's hard on himself. So I'm sure he's at it already. And for us, I think we're just going to check in on him and encourage him and motivate him. But he's definitely ready to have a big summer.
Hey, JP Tockett, Rutherford LV, and they kind of went hard at Pettersson in the post news conferences. You obviously heard them. Were you a little surprised they went at him with the hardness they did?
No, I understand. I mean, it's a business, and things didn't go well, and he's a highly paid player, and he's got a great contract, and he wants to do better. So, no, I'm not. I think, there's a lot of motivation for him, but I'm not surprised that they are going to push the buttons, and he's heard it loud and clear. I think we're going to see a different player in September.
One last one on Pettersson. Were you surprised when Elvin said it's not off the table to trade him by July 1st? Did that surprise you, JP?
Not really. I mean, that's July 1 is the date. That's the contract we have, and his no move, no trade language doesn't kick in until then, and it's a business. And we all know they've had discussions in the last 2 years. We'd be naive to think that they didn't explore every possibility with the situation they had this year. So I'm sure that's still possible.
What about Filip Chytil? Boy, there wasn't even a suspension on the play for Dickinson out of Chicago, JP, which was infuriating for fans in Vancouver. But what can you tell us about Filip Chytil? How's he feeling today, JP? And is he going to be able to 100% train in the summer the way he should be if he was 100% healthy?
Yeah, he's ready. I mean, he's ready. And I think, to be honest, I think the way he's handled this one is better than the past. I think he just wanted to take care of himself, do the right thing, and manage the injury. And he's extremely positive and upbeat, and doesn't feel that it was a significant thing. But he had to do what everybody had to do what was right, given that he's had a few of these in the past. But I think the time frame for recovery was quicker this time than it has been. So I think things look good for him to continue training this summer and be perfectly ready.
As an agent, JP, how scary was it for you knowing his history in New York, and then you see the Dickinson hit, and then you see him go off the ice like that? I mean, how concerned were you?
Really scary. I mean, all the concussion issues are scary, but they're always scarier when a player has a history of being impacted, because everybody, these kind of blows react differently to everybody. And, he's had a few serious ones, but this, like I said, this one I think was handled really well by both sides, and he's upbeat and positive, and I think things turned around fairly quickly, so it's good.
Talking with J.P. Barry, we mentioned Quinn Hughes, part of your group, J.P. How much is he bothered by the situation in Vancouver, in particular what happened this past season from a negative point of view, and what does it mean for a player, a superstar whose contract is up in a couple of years?
I mean, Quinn pushes himself harder than almost any client we have. Like, he wants to succeed, and I don't think he was that happy with how the year went, but he's gonna all he can do is in his own control is make himself the best player, and he wants to succeed in Vancouver. He's a captain, and he loves it. The distractions were hard. I mean, there was distractions around the team from day one, and he had to step up and talk about it, which he did, but kind of hoping that there's not as many distractions this summer so he can focus. And we're, like I said, we're I think he's just totally focused on next year right now.
And how's his health, JP? His injury situation during the season is well documented.
Yeah, he's good. He's just, run into some health problems with all three Hughes boys the last couple months.
Yeah.
I think they're all going to rehab together and train together and get healthy. But Quinn's fine, and he'll do the right things. He's a really hard worker, and he works hard off the ice. So I'm sure he's going to be fine.
JP, Tyler Myers, Rick Tocchet loves this guy, plays the heck out of him. Is he going to the World Hockey Championships for Canada? Do you know yet, JP?
I don't believe so. I haven't. I spoke to Kyle Dubas a few times, but I think it sounds to me like they're going with a younger team. But I think Tyler again's had some bumps and bruises, but he had a really good year and he's been fine. So I haven't heard that there's been any confirmation of him being involved in that.
JP, the salary cap's going up. What's the feel you get heading into this July 1st from teams and general managers? And these guys got to be licking their chops. The cap's going up. It's a good thing for everyone, is it not, JP?
Yeah, I mean, we won't be constantly, dealing with teams that like right at the cap. That even the teams that are at the cap will have some room. Now, I don't expect every team in the league is going to spend to the cap. That's not going to happen with these increases. It's never happened before. But, it will make it easier to talk to more teams. Like in the past, when you're sitting there with a free agent, you can almost do the math and say, wow, we can really only talk to 4 or 5 that have a spot for this player. So I think it'll open up options, and obviously it should open up some flexibility on dollar and term. And it's definitely a good summer to be a free agent. So we haven't had that for a few years.
Yeah. And one more, JP, if you don't mind. You mentioned Rick Tocchet, his future. How important is it for the Canucks to extend Rick Tocchet in regards to keeping Quinn Hughes down the road? Because Quinn has talked about Rick Tocchet being his favorite coach, the best coach he's had, going way back to minor hockey.
I mean, I think it's clear he'd love to have his coach back. I mean, I haven't heard any player on that team that doesn't want him back. And, for their own consistency, they've worked through so many things. They probably really want this coach to come back, but it's the coach's decision and the management's decision. So I think they're going to sit back and find out. But I think they want to play for him.
JP, above and beyond, thanks for doing this. We appreciate it. All the best. Have a great summer.
Thanks, guys. Okay, talk soon.
You bet.